Okay, is it actually possible to be able to slow or even better reverse metabolic slowdown due to aging? Well, guess what? The answer is absolutely, positively yes. And today I have 5 super simple, totally doable ways for you to begin to increase your metabolism at any age, and I am positive that you will be able to use at least one of these today to begin making a significant difference. My name is Terrell and I'm one of the coaches here at Beyond 40, and I have been helping people for almost 20 years raise your metabolism and lose that stubborn fat. So stick around because we are going to get into these 5 simple ways to raise your metabolism. Okay, the first way that we are going to begin to increase your metabolism today is by adding more protein to your diet. I'm talking more protein at every single meal. Protein is amazing. Protein is king of macronutrients, and it does something amazing. It causes diet-induced thermogenesis. And what this is that just simply by the act of eating or bringing the protein in, your body has to work through it. And it's such a highly metabolic process that it increases your metabolism by 20 to 30% while it gets through it all, breaks it down into the amino acids, shuffles it off to wherever it needs to be. So when you are eating protein, you are increasing your metabolic rate by 20 to 30%. And that is way more than any other macronutrient. It also reduces your appetite, and it does this by lowering a hormone called ghrelin. When your ghrelin is elevated, you are going to be hungry, and I call this hormonal hungry, and there's no way to not eat when you are hormonal hungry. There's not enough water that you can drink to suppress that appetite. There's literally nothing that you can do except eat, and protein does a beautiful job of lowering your ghrelin levels, which also makes you accidentally eat fewer calories throughout the day because you're not as hungry. It's going to help you not need to snack in between meals. And something also amazing is that it reduces your cravings in the evening. So you're not going to get done eating, clean up the kitchen, go sit and watch TV or read a book or play with the kids, and then suddenly be like, you know what, I need a snack. Protein is going to prevent that evening craving, and I absolutely love that. But the best thing that protein does is that it prevents muscle loss and metabolic slowdown, which automatically happens as we age. I'm 52 years old. I can definitely tell you a little bit about metabolic slowdown due to muscle loss. You have a certain percent of your muscle mass that declines beginning in your 30s each decade. So in order to prevent that, we need to eat more protein and we need to do some exercise. We'll get to that in a little bit. Anyway, how much protein do you need? Well, here's the thing. There is a bunch of different ways to figure it out. If you look it up online, you're going to find a million different answers. So I'm just going to make it simple for you. Eat protein at every single meal. And if you have time or you can fit it into your intermittent fasting schedule, which we also love here, have a protein shake if you can, just to boost those protein levels a little bit. As we age, our bodies actually get less efficient at processing protein. So even as you get older, we need to have more and more protein than we did when we were young. So eat more protein, supplement with the protein shakes, and if you love to work out and you work out a lot and you work out hard, you need to have extra protein because you're building muscle, you're trying to maintain muscle, and when you diet, one of the things that happens is you don't just lose fat when you begin to diet, you also lose muscle, and eating more protein is going to stop that muscle loss due to diet and aging, which is honestly great. So now let's move on to number 2. This one is my favorite because I believe it is the easiest one, and it is drink more water. I know you hear it all the time. Every time you hire a trainer or you get onto a new nutrition plan, you're told how much water you need to drink a day, and it is so important. It is so important. And the reason is your body cannot properly metabolize fat without it, period. Even the smallest amount of dehydration, mild dehydration, is beginning to suppress your body's ability to burn fat. Now, they did a study. Well, they've done lots of studies on water and the human body, but this one in particular, they had the participants drink 17 ounces of water, which is about 500 milliliters, and then they measured their metabolic rate over the next hour or so. And what they noticed was men and women alike, there was no difference. Their metabolism was increased by 30% for that hour. That is insane. That is awesome. Just knowing that, and you can have a big glass of water sitting on your desk all day long, and you can be drinking it, and you're going to actually have increased by 30% your metabolism, and you're still sitting at your desk working. This is fantastic. I say to my coaching clients all the time, I wish we were a little more like plants. Like even when they get a little bit lacking in water, their leaves start to like curl up a little bit. And it's not that we don't have mild symptoms like that and we can't tell. We have just learned to kind of like work through them, because I will tell you this, even mild dehydration will 100% affect your mood. It will make you feel tired, and likely that's the reason that you have a headache. Also, and this is a big one to me because I am 52 years old and I don't want to go anywhere near this one, it affects your skin on such a big level, because even a small amount of dehydration is going to make your complexion look uneven and blotchy, and you know what else? Those fine lines are also going to show up more, and I'll tell you what, I do not want that. That is the cheapest beauty advice ever. Drink more water. I love that. So if we were a little more like plants, we would be able to see these and we pay a little bit more attention to it. So pay attention to how your skin feels. Pay attention to how your skin looks. And I can tell you this, if you begin to drink 80 to 100 ounces of water or more a day over the next 2 weeks, you will see a difference in your skin, and it won't be unnoticeable. So give it a try, and in the comments, let me know if you've done it or if you will do it and see the difference in your skin. It's amazing. Anyway, so how much water should you have? I tell all my clients at least 80 ounces, minimum 80 ounces of water. I drink somewhere between 100 and 120, depending on the day, depending on what happens in the middle of the day. So anyway, but between 80 to 100 ounces. Now, if you're down in the 30 to 40 ounces of water currently, it is likely that your body isn't going to be able to just immediately accept 80 ounces of water, and you're going to be in the restroom all the time because your cells can't hold all that water yet. You have to work up to it. You can't put 14 ounces of water in a 12-ounce glass. And that's kind of what drinking too much water does, because your cells can't absorb it, so your body just gets rid of it. So if you drink just 30 to 40 ounces of water, or wherever you start, just increase the amount of water you drink a day by about a glass, maybe 2, depending on how often you have to get up and go to the restroom. If your body's accepting it, fantastic. If it's not, just pull back a little bit and gradually increase it. Spend 3 to 4 days at this level, add a few more ounces, and spend it there until you've worked your way up to 80 to 100 ounces. And I promise, you'll be able to tell a big difference. You will be able to metabolize those fats, and you're going to be amazed at how great your skin looks. So let's do it. Let's move on to number 3. Here it is. This one, I know I'm going to say, but I absolutely have to say it because there's 2 huge reasons that this one is on the list, and that is exercise. Of course, exercise. The first reason, though, is because you can actually have an elevated metabolic rate for up to 48 hours after a workout session. The workout session has to be done just right, and it usually includes high intensity interval training or resistance training. One of those 2, or you can add in high intensity resistance training. Sean has some great videos on that, and I will link them in the description. Anyway, but these are done because they really get your heart rate high and then low and then high and then low, and that's the interval training. And the high and low is what causes that extended afterburn. Now, there's a big difference between that and just high intensity cardio, because high intensity cardio is usually much longer in duration, and it's also going to keep your heart rate high with little dips down. As soon as you're done with high intensity cardio, even though it feels like you've just blown yourself up, within an hour, your heart rate is back down to almost normal, and so is your metabolic rate. So we need to make sure that we are hitting those highs and the lows. But please, please, please ask your doctor before you do anything that increases your heart rate super high, because resistance training without having that super elevated heart rate is going to do the same thing. When we're building muscles, we have an afterburn for that can last up to 48 hours later. Now, one thing also about resistance training is it's very easy to get complacent with it. Maybe doing that same circuit that we always do. We're not really that sore anymore. So I want you to pay close attention. I want you to be sore. Sore is the key. And I'll tell you what, even when your muscles are sore, your calorie burn is actually a little bit higher because your body's trying to heal those sore muscles. So sore muscles are good. We don't want debilitatingly sore, but make sure you are pushing those weights and you're increasing them. It's very difficult to get too much muscle. There's a lot of attention that needs to be paid if you're going to get too much muscle. So please don't worry about that. I know sometimes my girls worry about it. Guys don't. They want all the muscles. The girls often do not want a ton of muscles. How many days a week should we be working out? Well, I'll tell you what, I like to do 5 to 6 days a week. So we're going to do HIIT workouts a couple days a week. We're going to go 2 to 3 days a week of resistance training. I also love to add walks, and I go for a walk almost every single day. There's nothing better than that. That is actually a brain workout. I also love to do yoga, also a brain workout. Anyway, you can add those in the middle. Walking you can do even if you've already worked out. In fact, a lot of times walking is going to help you get rid of some of that soreness in your muscles from those super awesome exercises. Anyway, but I also have a video on how to activate your exercise hormone. It's called irisin, and yes, there's an exercise hormone, and yes, it does help you metabolize and burn more fat when you can exercise in a way that brings out this hormone. So let's move on to number 4. This one, while it should be the easiest of all of them, is probably actually the hardest. I have so many coaching clients that really struggle in this area, and that is sleep. Getting good quality restorative sleep. It's a very big deal. Even a mild amount, just a small bit of sleep deprivation, it causes us to be hungry the next day. We're very hungry and we don't really even know it. It's just kind of an underlying in the background, just not being able to be satisfied and being hungry. Not only that, but it makes us crave sugar and fat, which is the worst combination because that is a guarantee of fat storing. And not only when you're storing fat, you can't burn fat. So basically, when you're not getting a good sleep, you're not going to be able to really burn any fat, or at least it's going to be very difficult. But how does it actually affect your metabolism? I'll tell you what, sleep deprivation causes metabolic dysregulation. And this is so serious because it is our body's ability to properly metabolize sugars. And when we start to get this deregulated, we have a problem. And you know what? It's going to cause insulin resistance. It causes diabetes and a whole host of other metabolic diseases that we do not want any part of because it is going to change the way our bodies work through the energy that we bring in. And when we start to have metabolic dysregulation, everything is twice as hard. We are going to have cravings. We are going to be hungry, and our metabolism is going to be all twisted up. And one thing that is such a big deal is that when it starts to cause insulin resistance, it changes everything. One thing that we really want to make sure that we are avoiding, and if we've started to become insulin resistant, we want to pull back on that. It is something that you can begin to correct. So we do have a free report, and this one means a lot to me because insulin resistance is a big deal. Almost everybody that I talk to has some kind of problem with this. So I want you to do this for me. Download this free report, 7 ways to control insulin and blood sugar. I can tell you what, there will be some things in here that are going to be able to help you immediately because insulin resistance, not good. But as far as that sleep goes, we've got to find a way to get good sleep. And I know it is at a basic level, but some things just need to be done. We need to have a bedtime. We need to shut off our devices. We need to try to lower our stress level. Anything that we can do to try to get good quality sleep most nights of the week is going to help you tremendously, and not just feel better that day, but it's actually going to help you live a longer, happier, healthier life by getting good sleep. That is when our body does all of its repairing, all of its cleansing, everything that we're always trying to do from the outside. If we just get good sleep, our body does it all on the inside anyway. All right, that's my soapbox with the sleeping. So anyway, here we go. We are on to number 5. Here it is, the last one, and this is way more of a what not to do than what to do, and that is don't booger it up before it gets started. If we can do that, it is going to be so much easier if we can just keep our metabolism from taking a dive. And some of the ways that will actually kind of promote that metabolic dive are what I call dieting too hard, which means, and it happens all the time, I talk to people every single day, they were on a diet, they were doing fine, the diet started to slow, and then it stopped working. So instead of reaching out for help when it just started to stop working and kind of reevaluating what was going on, they dieted harder, they cut more calories, or they cut out more carbs, which honestly blows my mind. I don't know how we eat no carbs. There are certain carbs, like watermelon. Like, I really need to have my watermelon. Anyway, and if they're doing intermittent fasting, they fast longer. All 3 of these things are a surefire way to reduce your metabolic rate, and I'll tell you what, it is difficult to recover from that, and it takes quite a bit of time. It is totally possible, but it takes quite a bit of time. Something that's a little more difficult that we all probably have some trouble with, and that is stress. We need to learn how to manage our stress. Fortunately, walking is one of the best stress relievers, and it's also great exercise, and whenever we can get a little bit of sunshine, we are always in a benefit. Yes, the last thing, I know we touched on it in the last point, and that is avoiding insulin resistance. Such a big deal. Once this comes on, it can end up causing permanent changes and permanent damage to your body. So we want to, at all costs, avoid insulin resistance. So please go download that free report, 7 ways to control your insulin and your blood sugar, because it is absolutely free and is there. Don't forget, also, I have linked a couple of videos that are going to help you with your exercise hormone and how to get that 48-hour afterburn. Also, I'm going to link that water study, so you got all kinds of things. You're not going to stop learning. Thank you so much for sticking around with me. I'll see you next time. Bye.